By June 2026, 5 former presidents of the United States had one unusual detail in common. Each of them died during the month of June, although their deaths occurred in very different years. They led the country through expansion, civil conflict, economic change, the Cold War, and major transformations in presidential power. Some remain admired, while others are remembered for decisions that continue to divide historians. Today, we look back at 5 American presidents who died in June, their years in office, the events that defined their administrations, and the final chapters of their lives. Together, their stories cover nearly 2 centuries of American history and reveal how dramatically the presidency, the nation, and public expectations changed from the 19th century to the modern era. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and tell us in the comments which American president has left the strongest mark on the country's history. The first president is James Buchanan, the 15th president of the United States. Born in Pennsylvania in 1791, Buchanan built one of the longest political careers of any man who reached the White House. He served in the House of Representatives, the Senate, the diplomatic service, and as Secretary of State before winning the presidential election of 1856. Buchanan entered office at a time when the nation was being torn apart by the expansion of slavery into Western territories. He believed that compromise and strict respect for constitutional limits could calm the crisis. Instead, the conflict became more dangerous. His support for the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision damaged his credibility in the North, while his response to the secession of Southern states was widely criticized as too weak. When Abraham Lincoln succeeded him in 1861, Buchanan returned to Wheatland, his home near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He spent his final years defending his record and arguing that history would judge him more fairly. James Buchanan died there on the 1st of June 1868, at the age of 77, after a period of declining health. He was buried at Woodward Hill Cemetery in Lancaster. His quiet retirement contrasted sharply with the national disaster that followed his departure from Washington. The second president is Ronald Reagan, the 40th president of the United States. Long before entering politics, Reagan worked as a radio announcer, Hollywood actor, and television host. He later became governor of California and emerged as one of the most influential conservative figures of the 20th century. Reagan won the presidency in 1980 and served 2 terms, from 1981 to 1989. His administration promoted tax reductions, military expansion, deregulation, and a more confrontational approach toward the Soviet Union. Supporters credited him with restoring national confidence and helping bring the Cold War toward its conclusion. Critics pointed to rising deficits, inequality, and the Iran-Contra scandal. Only 69 days after taking office, Reagan survived an assassination attempt in Washington. A bullet came dangerously close to his heart, but he recovered and returned to work. Years after leaving office, he announced in 1994 that he had Alzheimer's disease. The public gradually saw less of him as the illness advanced. Ronald Reagan died at his home in Bel Air, California, on the 5th of June for 2004. He was 93 years old. His death was followed by a national period of mourning, and more than 200,000 people paid their respects during ceremonies in California and Washington. He was buried at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. His funeral brought together political leaders, former allies, foreign dignitaries, veterans, and ordinary citizens. The third president is Andrew Jackson, the 7th president of the United States. Jackson rose from a difficult childhood on the Carolina frontier to become a lawyer, military commander, senator, and national hero. His victory over British forces at the Battle of New Orleans transformed him into one of the most famous Americans of his generation. Jackson served as president from 1829 to 1837. He presented himself as a defender of ordinary white voters against powerful political and financial elites. During his presidency, he strengthened the authority of the executive branch and fought the Second Bank of the United States. His supporters viewed him as a champion of popular democracy. His legacy, however, is also inseparable from the Indian Removal Act and the forced displacement of Native American nations. Thousands died during removals that became known collectively as the Trail of Tears. Jackson's policies and his ownership of enslaved people remain central to modern debates about how he should be remembered. After leaving office, Jackson retired to the Hermitage, his plantation near Nashville, Tennessee. Despite chronic pain and serious health problems, he remained influential in Democratic politics. Andrew Jackson died at the Hermitage on the 8th of June 1845, at the age of 78. He was buried beside his wife Rachel in the estate's garden. Even in retirement, politicians sought his advice and treated his approval as a valuable political weapon. Take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who enjoys American history. Your support helps us continue telling the stories of the leaders, artists, and public figures who shaped the world we know today. The fourth president is James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States. Polk was born in North Carolina in 1795 and built his political career in Tennessee. He served in Congress, became Speaker of the House, and later served as Governor of Tennessee before winning the presidency in 1844. Polk entered the White House with a clear list of objectives and promised to serve only one term. During his presidency, the United States settled the Oregon boundary dispute with Britain, lowered tariffs, created an independent treasury, and fought the Mexican-American War. That war resulted in the United States gaining a vast amount of Western territory. The expansion strengthened the country geographically but intensified the national argument over whether slavery would spread into the new lands. Polk achieved most of the goals he had announced, yet the pressure of the presidency left him exhausted and in poor health. After leaving office in March 1849, Polk traveled through several southern states before returning to Nashville. During the journey, he became seriously ill while cholera was spreading through parts of the region. His condition worsened rapidly. James K. Polk died on the 15th of June, 1849, only 3 months after leaving the White House. He was 53, making his retirement the shortest of any former American president. His sudden death shocked a country still debating the consequences of his expansionist presidency for decades afterward. The fifth and final president is Grover Cleveland, the 22nd and 24th President of the United States. Cleveland was the first American president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Before entering the White House, he had worked as a lawyer, sheriff, mayor of Buffalo, and governor of New York. Cleveland built his reputation as a politician who opposed corruption and unnecessary government spending. He frequently used the presidential veto and argued that public officials had a duty to protect the interests of taxpayers. His first term lasted from 1885 to 1889. After losing the next election, he returned 4 years later and served from 1893 to 1897. His second administration faced the severe economic crisis known as the Panic of 1893. Bank failures, unemployment, railroad strikes, and public anger created enormous pressure. Cleveland's response, including his decision to use federal troops during the Pullman strike, remained controversial. After leaving office, Cleveland settled in Princeton, New Jersey, and became involved with Princeton University. His health declined during the final years of his life, with heart, kidney, and gastrointestinal problems. Grover Cleveland died at his home on the 24th of June, 1908, at the age of 71. He was buried in Princeton Cemetery. These 5 presidents belonged to different centuries and represented very different visions of the United States, yet their lives all ended during the same month. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next historical tribute.